Welcome back to the LEC. It is time for Game 2 between G2 Esports and Mad Lions. And from G2 Esports, that first game was a full court press, a nearly flawless display of team coordination. And for Mad Lions, it's back to the drawing board here in Game 2. So gentlemen, easy first question. What has to change?
It has to be the draft, doesn't it?
It has to be
when I re-looked
draft.
at this draft after the game, I was like, well, okay, so your whole draft revolves around a winning top, but mid gets pushed in, bot gets pushed in, losing jungle matchup in isolation. So unless top can sort of carry from top to move to mid to give you some prio in mid, it really feels like a horror. I think what they could have done is maybe Lissandra on 3, gone for team fights with Lee Sin, Lissandra into LeBlanc. Maybe they could have gone for, I don't know, some kind of different split push on 4 like a Jace, and then counter-pick support.
Ban a champion that isn't Brand.
Brand ban, yeah.
Just to keep it simple. I know that one, you know, it was
it was a confident move, I'll say, that perhaps backfired. We shall see. Now, moving into Game 2, we talked about it. Yes, it was very clean execution from G2. What they did in the other game was very impressive, but the reason why Mad had few options was because of this draft. So let's see, do they still have the same priority on this Twisted Fate? At the beginning of the game, we talked about how LeBlanc, Xin, just so strong. It's such a strong
into
duo.
TF. You have so much kill pressure. So not only in isolation was it strong, but the 2v2 is also losing.
And you're also giving G2 exactly this type of play that they love, right? A strong mid jungle, one that they know how to utilize, one that they know how to move around the map on. So let's see how Mad adapt. They've done it in the finals. They've played against G2 before. They often have a wealth of options, and perhaps Game 1 was just a matter of experimentation and seeing what G2 bring out.
Right. Well, yesterday we saw Rogue and Misfits both on the same side for 5 games straight. When Misfits lost, they chose red. When Rogue lost, they chose blue. Again, we have Mad Lions on red side. Varus ban instantly coming out to stop that from being in Rekkles' hands. I think the Brand ban, we might not see that again, because I think G2 having LeBlanc, Xin, Zhao, Varus, Mad Lions not going to let that happen. G2, maybe they stick to the same bans, but Mad Lions also had a lot of other interesting bans, like the Elyoya ban, and not going for Jace. So we'll see and keep our eyes on that, but G2 already swapping it up.
Twisted Fate being taken off the board from G2 Esports. I like it. So will Mad remove the Xin? Remember, no Viego in Game 1. It was Lee Xin was the jungle matchup.
All junglers were up.
Viego banned away. Final ban on blue side, previous game.
Okay.
Oh, so it wasn't the first phase. I thought it was second phase for some reason.
Yeah, no. So,
apologies.
LeBlanc also going to be banned away now, matching the Twisted Fate. So some adjustments here on both sides. Interesting to see G2 immediately pivot their ban strategy as soon as they saw the Varus removed, knowing maybe they can't get the winning bot side and the winning mid jungle so easily.
Yeah, and just looking at other regions, when things like TF, LeBlanc aren't down or aren't prioritized, we see Syndra, we see Orianna, and we see Ryze. So maybe we'll see that today, now that we have these 2 champions banned away. There's the last ban, Viego. Now I expect Mad Lions to take away Thresh. I think G2 banned that last game, and I'm pretty sure Mikyx going to first pick that if it's open.
Mad, I believe, banned the Ziggs in Game 1.
As well as the Aurelia, which was obviously a ban that outside of the Brand was kind of the most surprising ban.
Which is interesting, because Rekkles hasn't played any Ziggs games this split, I believe, and the only time I can remember G2 playing Ziggs was Caps.
But I did see Rekkles, I think it was a tweet or an Instagram post, where he just showed all of his losses on Syndra.
Oh, wow.
So perhaps they're just respecting the possibility that he's added it to his pool. In any case, with all of these gone, it's going to be the Lee over the Xin priority for Jankos here.
Will they match Xin Zhao into Lee and then go for Ezreal, similar to what they did last time? Kai'Sa Varus banned out, AD pool might get pinched, Ziggs is open, so they could also go for that, maybe like a Xin Zhao Ziggs and then Camille on 3.
Volibear. I just kind of want to bring it up, just because when we think of Elyoya, remember that he hasn't played Xin once in his professional career. Woo! And when we think of comfort...
Well, now he has. Now he's going to play one.
This is going to be his first one. All right. So he will be able to pick that one up. And that's definitely a good thing, because it is such a powerful pick in the meta, and he's going to answer. The question is, what will they pair it up with? Remember that things like the Ashe were getting higher in priority. Yesterday, we know that Carzzy is a big Ashe player, but it's going to be the Ryze. Okay, you already talked about it, Caedrel. Coming into this series, we knew that Ryze was going to be a big pick, and with these 2 mid laners gone, it's now risen to the top.
Do you know what Damwon did today in their series with the first pick Lee Sin against the blind pick Ryze on red side? They went Yasuo Diana. G2, maybe they're not going to do it, but that's what Damwon was doing, and it looked, well, questionable, but good in a sense. But no.
Why would you say that to me and get my hopes up?
No, well,
there's nothing they could pick that is not Yasuo Diana that will excite me. There's a Tristana coming in, which is interesting. Obviously, we had to see the bot lane meta evolve as the Varus was banned away this time, but Tristana, standard, solid pick for Rekkles. Maybe happy to blind pick that one. Is G2 now debating what they want to go for? Can go for the Sylas.
I think Syndra might be better.
I agree. Syndra is what I would think Orianna is an option. It's a pretty good matchup into Ryze, but in general, I think that the Syndra gives you way more kill threat in the 2 versus 2. Orianna doesn't have that same setup that a Syndra does, and we already talked about it. G2's so strong when playing through their mid jungle. Like, it's such a powerful 2v2 setup.
I wonder if they'll pick Jace here or if they'll match AD. I think the important thing for Mad Lions to change it up from last game is counter-picking support as well as top with red side.
Right.
They could pick a top laner here, ban away 2, and then go for support on 5, but no, it looks like they might just look to match AD. Tristana picked, Varus, Kalista down, and we've got Carzzy's Kai'Sa.
I hate it.
Wow, okay, strong.
Not Carzzy's Kai'Sa, it's more that I just hate the champion. I think that after repeated nerfs, the champion is just a little too weak right now.
Yeah, the Q nerfs makes it so her wave clear is not so good in the early stages, so it's very hard to contest the push. Halo Blades champion is Tristana, who will also be running Halo Blades. I wonder if they're going to go for a melee support here. Match it with Kai'Sa, Leona, Nautilus, just any engage, Alistar as well would work fantastic.
I will say right now, Mad Lions have drafted themselves a relatively short-range comp. Ryze, a lot of damage, but one of his big things is, like, you beat him with range. Same thing with champions like Kai'Sa. So I think G2 can actually round out their comp with a little bit more frontline if they wanted to. Things like Tahm, Kench, Braum. Again, Braum has now been banned, but if they wanted to mimic that style of a pretty solid front-to-back and just outrange their opposition, it would definitely work pretty effectively against what Mad Lions have drafted.
And certainly when they have a Lee Sin kick, a Tristana Buster Shot, as well as a Syndra Scatter the Weak, they have so many tools to keep Mad Lions at arm's length. Now, if Mad Lions get on the back line when all those tools are down, they certainly have the power to wreak havoc, but it is going to be easier said than done. Alistar now taken off the board.
Yeah, that just leaves Leona. I think G2 just have to ban it, right? I mean, if you just give them a free Leona, unless you have some kind of counter like Trundle.
Galio?
Galio is definitely a melee support, but I think if they give Leona over, they're going to have to go for something like Trundle. Alistar is already taken away. If Leona gets taken off the board, I think you're right. Things like Galio could come into play, and then a Camille on 5, perhaps.
Exactly. If I'm Mad Lions, I'm now thinking Camille Galio to round out my draft. The fact that Rakan has been banned away suggests to me that G2 either wants Mad Lions to pick the Leona, or they're happy to take whatever Mad Lions picks in, and then they can pick it for themselves.
Yeah, the Leona has to be locked in here. I think that just picking something like the Galio and giving them Leona, is it really worth the trade in the value of the champion itself? Gives such good engage, pairs so well with Zhao. Now G2, are they going to match it? We'll have to see, because Galio could be an option. Could also go for the Trundle, which I think would work pretty well into Kai'Sa Leona.
And I know he griefed on it last time he played it, but Mikyx's Poppy support is solid into both the Xin and the Leona, so I'm just going to throw it out there one time.
Into Zhao Ryze, it sounds a bit rough.
What about Gragas?
Oh, certainly solid.
Yeah, anything with engage, anything with aftershock. I think range support like Karma could work. You could get the early push, but it might hurt.
I mean, it's a Mickey. There's one thing I know about him is that his favorite champion is Gragas. He plays at mid lane, he plays at top lane, he plays it everywhere.
The best Gragas on a team full of players who can play Gragas.
That's a good feat to have. But now it's all about top lane. Top lane's been something we questioned in game 1. And he's going to run back to Tahm.
So, but it comes back to what we were talking about, right? A strong front to back. That's pretty much what G2 have. Very solid disengage tools. They're going to leverage the range that they have in the Syndra and the Tristana. I would like Mad to go something like a Camille.
I think Gnar is good as well.
You prefer the Gnar?
Range top laner Gnar. We saw Hirid play. It didn't go so well, but I think it's Armut's comfort. I think Camille could also work, but I think with this comp, a lot of diving. I think a Mega Gnar could help, but a Gwen again is going to be picked into Tahm Kench. It looked good in the early stages. He did have the push, and he was almost able to solo kill him. But I think after level 6, level 7, it just looked kind of evened out.
Well, so the difference is this time, it's easier for G2 to attack sides. Obviously not the Tahm Kench, but this time it's a Syndra who's less comfortable on a side lane than someone like a LeBlanc is, because she doesn't have the same level of mobility. So in theory, Humanoid, also in this matchup, there are windows where he can actually get the push. He's not permanently sitting underneath this tower. And with the Xin Ryze, I can see a world where they can definitely win that 2 versus 2 at certain points. So I would say that they have a stronger 2 versus 2 than they did before. And I think the Mad Lions have more options, but I still think overall, G2 have a very strong comp.
Yeah, and G2 have a very similar comp in a way to last game. You know, you have the Tahm Kench, we'll say weak side in this sense. Will still be strong side if he needs resource or covered, but will be weak side. And I think that Syndra, Lee Sin, Tristana, Gragas probably going to play through mid to bot again, whereas Mad Lions, similar again, almost like a 1-3-1, but now they can contest fights and they actually have bot lane to play through if they want it, because the matchup, Leona, Zhao, a lot of kill pressure.
A lot of questions on our mind as we get ready for this second game. Certainly two very different compositions. And again, so many powerful picks on both sides. The Ryze for Humanoid, the Syndra for Caps, Rekkles Tristana versus Carzzy on the Kai'Sa. Nearly every single matchup is hyped as we are just moments away from the second game in this series. Mad Lions, can they turn this one around? G2, can they bring it home for the fans? It is time for game 2. Here we are now onto the Rift. Game 1. During the interview, we saw brief signs of a potential aggressive level 1. Is now Mikyx walking to the darkness, but it looks like he was spotted out. Kaiser now could potentially look to punish the rest of Mad Lions, ready to collapse. Jankos waiting over the wall, though. Kaiser has to be careful here. Wunder can come in with the Tahm Kench W as well. But instead, he has opted to start the Q. Just a bit of a trading back and forth here, and the ward taken away.
Okay. Well, the Gragas E is quite long cooldown, and G2 try another cheeky little level 1. Doesn't work this time. They tried it on top before with caps on the Blanc. Now they're trying it with Mikyx. G2 love their level 1s.
I'm just having a look at what Armut is doing right now. He's hovering around the blue buff. I think he's going to look to drop a ward here, but he's going to wait for as long as possible so the ward gets as much value as possible, and there it will be. So he has a little bit of information as to where Jankos is starting. Yeah,
both jungle and support of Mad Lions placed their ward. One defensively, one offensively, both based and picked up the sweeper, so that'll help them out. But the ward dying gives a zombie ward to G2, who've also got now 2 wards on the bot side of the map. Elyoya pathing top once again into Armut's lane, has the push and will look to get the top crab. An exact same situation for Jankos, who will start top side and go towards bot lane, who he expects to have the push in, and mid lane should have the push as well for Cap. So Scuttle Crab trade-off, but we'll see if they go for that bot dive again. I think it's a lot harder now, because I think Mad Lions should be able to contest the push, but having leashed might be a bit difficult. Tristana pushes waves notoriously quick with her E.
Yep. Already a little bit of trading here. G2 first to lane makes things much, much easier for the team overall. Rekkles really taking his time on that last auto attack, as you mentioned, Caedrel. Explosive shot there going to be big, and Humanoid. I've never seen a Ryze and a Syndra kill each other at level 1, but wouldn't surprise me if this is the matchup where it's going to happen.
So I was going to comment on how in this matchup specifically, Ryze can actually get push early on. Thanks to his E, he can actually trade quite aggressively, and the Syndra Q cooldown level 1 is still relatively low. But often what happens in most of these matchups is you trade health in the lane to gain priority. So what you can do is, because you're running the corrupting pot, you basically just burn through them as fast as possible, and you just fight, and you try to out-sustain your opposition. And basically the person that comes out with more health at the end ends up coming out on top. And you can see right now, Caps is leading with the health ever so slightly, but also those biscuits are there to add additional sustain.
Oh, flash in.
Going forward. Carzzy now flashing out very early into the laning phase, already bullied away and still taking a lot of damage on the back end of that trade.
Now a really big thing is happening here. Elyoya's pathing top, and he showed around bot side mid, so they know he's pathing top. And what Mikyx's doing there is he's just flashing in to get Carzzy some, so when the dive comes in later on, it's much easier. So now Carzzy no flash, luckily didn't have to burn the heal, but now the big problem for Mad Lions is G2 have that option to dive bot. Yes, Mad Lions have TPs to respond, but G2 could do so too. So we'll see if Elyoya can find something top side, because for now, G2 are still forcing down towards bot lane, similar to game 1.
And in the previous game, Wunder was an immovable object on the top side of the map. It took so many resources for Mad Lions to try and shut him down. It was ultimately unsuccessful. This time, maybe they can change things. Elyoya now fully committed for this dive. Wunder could be in trouble here. They're going to go in 1, 2, 3 on the autos, healing up as much as he can. The flashback out to safety. Elyoya tanking, but it's first blood to the side of Mad Lions. No response from the side of G2.
Yeah, really clean dive there. Elyoya just forces it. Waves stacked up. Maybe that's how the matchup's supposed to go. Maybe that's something Mad Lions have practiced and they know will happen, and that's why they're pathing top and making sure that they can shut down this Tahm Kench. Didn't happen earlier on in the first game, but this time around they do find the advantage. Now Jankos is not spotted, but Mad Lions should know he's down here. Armut has based, and I think if he saves his TP here, he should be able to match this bot dive, but he's going to have to use it. Might be a 3v3.
Sin, Sonic Wave, that's a lot of TPs being burned. G2 looks like they want nothing to do with this dive, but Jankos has been caught up, but they're not going to have enough damage to follow it up. Armut now stepping forward. Trade 1 for 1 on the TPs, but G2 still behind in terms of successful dives.
So this time around, Mad's much more prepared in the early game. They have good control with their early vision. They are able to set up for an early dive on the top side. They're able to match Armut's TP with Caps's, which means that Humanoid can TP back into mid. And while Carzzy did lose his flash in the straight up 2 versus 2, he is, of course, losing priority in this matchup anyway, so it's somewhat as you expect in terms of the pressure that he's being put under. So props to Mad, definitely not suffering from what was a pretty devastating early game from game 1.
Yeah, and the wave state was in a really good position for Armut. It was pushed all the way into the tower, and Wunder had to stack a wave and push in as quickly as he could, and Armut can get back up here into time to catch it despite going towards bot lane. And like I said, Humanoid can push him in. That'll help his lane phase out, but for now G2 have push in top, and they've still got a push in bot. Carzzy still very low, no potions. And G2 still pressuring down towards bot, but Elyoya's respawn is bot side. He should be able to bail their bot lane out, and Jankos is going to go towards his respawn on the top side of the map.
But as mentioned already, a much stronger start for the Mad Lions. Yes, it is only a single kill, but remember last game we gave so much praise to G2 for how incredible they were across the board. You can see in that game one, massive gold differences coming through, very steadily building that one up. And Mad Lions might have something to say about it this time around. As Elyoya's in the bottom side, Rekkles has already used the jump. Mikyx potentially in no man's land. It looks like he might want that kill on the Carzzy. Ignite, a little bit more damage, but he can't pop the barrel. One more auto, he wants to finish it, but it's not gonna work. No, he gets it in the end. It's a 1-for-1.
So well played by Mikyx. He had no flash, and Mad Lions knew it. Elyoya came down because his bot camps respawned there. They tried to get the kill. Mikyx, great turn onto Carzzy.
Wow. I'm very surprised that Mikyx was able to pull that one off. I thought he was CC'd long enough that he needed one more auto attack off. But let's have a look back at this quick replay. So the engage comes down onto Rekkles. He immediately reacts and is able to create a gap. Carzzy, of course, also tanking up damage from the minions. But have a look at this. So Mikyx can't quite get his Q off because he's CC'd for a little bit too long, so he doesn't get that additional damage. But I think the Aftershock actually does enough damage for the Ignite to finish him. So props to Mikyx there, showcasing his Gragas prowess.
Yeah, I think maybe if Carzzy just kept running up towards Elyoya, he could have been fine there, but he backtracked now. Wave in a bad state for Armut, has no flash. Wunder's level 6, Jankos is around. I think there's no way out of this one, Armut.
Armut level 6 though is pretty big. Needlework is a lot of immediate healing, but Devour comes in. Jankos should get a clean fall off on the setup on the Q. Armut dashing, dipping, ducking, diving, healing up a ton. This is Gwen. She's level 6. She's got a ton of healing, and if the kick doesn't land, they might not have the damage. We're going to have to hold that thought instantly. Caps now coming in. He throws a Raptor into the face of Elyoya. How about that one? Raptor's fighting back. Wunder coming in on the top side. They finally take down Armut, and across the board, G2 for getting some work done.
So I'm not entirely sure what happened on the bot side of the map, but G2, they punish Armut up towards the top side. The wave was pushing towards Wunder. They're able to find an effective gank, and while Jankos was very close to losing his life, as Humanoid's now in danger.
Kane CC now coming in, instant follow-up damage, and goodbye. Rekkles with a happy B. G2, incredible couple minutes now.
But also just what is going on for Mads? Like, they had such a great start to the game, and now all of a sudden, everything seems to be blundering. So let's have a look and see what exactly happened here. So Kaiser and Elyoya grouping up to get a little bit of prio in mid. They're looking to get a little bit of deep vision. Rekkles collapses in as Caps makes his way back up, and they end up just going for a fight 2 versus 3.
Mad Lions looking to keep the tempo up, though. They're not looking to get dropped back there. Mikyx gonna go with the body slam for the interrupt, but Kaiser waited just long enough. That said, the dive absolutely collapses. That was not G2 outplaying. That was Mad overstaying.
Yeah, I wonder what Jankos' pathing was there. I think he read the play really, really well because all his camps are up. He must have ran through bot to make sure that this dive didn't go through. Mad Lions didn't expect him to be there. Answers really well, and they win out on the dive. A lot of fighting going on, you know. Armut almost pulled off the 1v2 because the Qs just weren't hitting. Hang on here, Rekkles. Getting traded on, but Elyoya just greeting for Raptors. Caps dropped mid-wave, collapsed, flash stunned them both. And Mon able there to respond there to win the fight, and G2 just responding to Mad Lions' plays, which are now backfiring.
I think that's exactly it, Caedrel. The reality is that G2 actually haven't had to do a huge amount in the last few minutes. They've just been punishing these mistakes from Mad Lions, this over-aggression, where it feels like that they're trying to claw a lead here. Remember that when you look at their composition, a lot of it is playing through sides, trying to utilize things like the Ryze ultimate, having the Leona group up with Xin and create some pressure mid so that they can move around the map, but so far, they're just being punished.
Caps no flash though. Humanoid doesn't have ult to pop Kaiser across, and Mikyx's hit reads the play very well. It's going to help him push out this wave. Make sure Caps is safe. G2 have the bot push, and in turn, that helps Caps out. So, should be fine. And for now, nothing happened. Just a lot of trading in top by the looks of it, and I think Mad Lions going to move towards his top side. Heralds up, both AD carries, handshaking in bot side, so it's a 4v4 on the top side of the map, and Jankos is looking up top again. Armut, of course, no flash. Wunder has the ultimate.
Maybe we can look to get something done. Mad Lions bringing members in, though. They can look for the collapse of themselves. Maybe G2 can collapse on the collapsers, but Armut now going to walk away clean for now. That is the ultimate use from Wunder. Armut holding onto the needlework for the fight to come if they want to contest this Herald.
Yeah, 2 ultimates gone, so Mad Lions. Although Kaiser is not level 6 and Mikyx is, who just went mid to get the wave. Now he's level 6, Kaiser's level 5, so ultimates aren't too far apart. Caps is going to move there as well. It's a 4v4. Mad Lions are quite stacked up, and they're flanked from top. They're flanked from bot side. Jankos is there too.
Kaiser finding the initial engage, trying to burn him down, but the aftershock is still proc. Elyoya jumping forward, trying to get as much damage down as he can. Armut now in there with the needlework. He's going to be able to land a few, but G2 just splitting up. They're not letting a single member go down. Caps now going to be in trouble. Mikyx running. That's the needlework now coming in. Suddenly, Mad Lions have turned the fight. Jankos, will he go back in with the kick? They're trying to get a little bit more damage down, but they know that they've lost this one. Realm Warp in, Humanoid, and Armut descending on G2. They're going to get some kills back for themselves. Armut just barely making it it out.
So this time round, Mad are able to find a successful skirmish. They leverage the fact that this composition is much better at these extended trades. Gwen, Ryze, when they're able to ramp up, they're able to really ramp it up. Very well played from the Mad Lions. They get a lot more kills on the board. They'll be... Oh, they don't actually decide to go for the Herald. They decide not to risk it at the fear of the TP potentials. And instead will choose to just take away with the fight.
Yeah, I think an important thing here is Mikyx level 6, so yes, G2 want to opt into this fight, but Rekkles has a lot of gold onto G2, so this 4v4 is not as one-sided as you might think. Kaiser dies straight away, so it looks pretty bad for Mad Lions, but look at Armut. His ultimate goes through 3 people right here, and he's able to just hit Mikyx, Caps, and Wunder all at the same time while Humanoid's free-hitting, and then once the front line dies, Humanoid can ult himself in to finish off the back line.
I think that Armut actually also does a really great job of soaking up a lot of damage. He mitigates a lot of the Qs from Caps that's just hitting them into the Gwen sphere, and actually soaking up a lot of that. So props to Armut leveraging the Gwen, showcasing and running it back.
And like last game, we saw Mad Lions had a single target damage comp. Lee Sin, Twisted Fate, Ezreal. This time around, with Ryze, with Gwen, when people are stacked up, they can start to melt through all the members of G2.
And this is the short-range power you talked about with the Ryze. Once there's no one threatening him, he just gets to throw down so much damage in these exchanges. And it's only going to get harder as the game goes on if G2 cannot keep Humanoid at arm's length. That's without a single item completed. Ryze is only going to get scarier the later we go into the game. For now, though, G2, Wunder trying to keep pressure on the top side. And across the board, only 700 gold separates these teams.
Yeah, much better game than game 1. By this time, G2 had a Dragon, they had Herald, they were cracking open bot tower, but still, both neutrals are still up, and Mad Lions aren't too far behind in gold. They can start contesting the push. You can see Humanoids pushing in mid, because Caps is going to blue, of course, and Carzzy is able to start pushing in these bot waves, so Mad Lions have room to contest and start to contest the control specifically to stop these neutrals from being started.
Now, Humanoid does have push in mids. They've also been able to rotate through bot first, and Armut has a TP advantage. This suggests to me that Mad Lions right now is looking to secure themselves the first strike of the game, and Jankos, knowing that they likely can't contest, is actually just going to cross-map on the other side, but Mad are actually looking for kills.
Elyoya now with the follow-up, looking for the knock-up there, going to get knocked back into the tower, though, that's going to be big. Crescent Guard going to mitigate some of the immediate damage coming in from Rekkles. Won't quite stop any follow-up, but he's going to walk away for now. Mikyx, though, walking out with his life is big because Jankos is already on the top side, taking away this Herald.
Yeah, Humanoid needs to get back to mid, though, because Caps is able to get some platings of his own, so a small trade-off going in here from mid to bot, but the important thing is when Jankos gets this Herald, he can base, run bot, cover Rekkles, and Herald bot tower, so Mad Lions are on a timer here, because you can see now, Jankos is based, he's sprinting bot, Caps is pushing in mid, he has TP up, so Mad Lions think this is going to be the last plate they can get. They're going to have to back off and start this Dragon, and then G2 will be the ones who can control this bot side of the map. I expect Jankos to pop the Herald down there, similar to game 1.
Pressure now, though. Oh, you're going to take away this Drake. At least it won't just be G2 taking literally everything on the map, much closer around in this early game, as we've said a few times now. But Jankos, he gets a successful gank here. They may be able to break bottom. That said, Elyoya already on the bottom side. Doesn't have a ton of mana, but should be enough to try to fight, but no ultimate as well. Fight kicking off. Double TP now from the side of Mad. Jankos going to need to escape very quickly, but he's already used the hop. He's used the kickback now, too, and G2 need to turn the fight. But this is a man advantage for the Mad Lions. Instantly, Carzzy into the backside. Caps and Rekkles pulling back, retreating. Mad Lions finding opportunities, finding kills in the exchange.
It felt like Mad was reading the play well. The flash.
To the wall instantly. Going to find one back. Mad Lions ruthless in that exchange.
Mad Lions utilizing their TP advantage so well. G2 wanted to try and use the Herald bots. They wanted to try and contest control around the Drake area and open up the map for their bot lane. But because Armut had the TP, Mad were primed and ready, and now they're going for more.
Here we go. Rinse and repeat here on the dives. Elyoya going forward. Wind becomes lightning. Will not connect, but that's still going to be the tower dropping down.
You're completely right, Vedius. They initially put the bot play into play. They dropped the Herald, and they're actually able to force G2 out, put some vision behind the tower, behind the waves, and then when G2 want to make their own play, they TP behind them. Look at that ward just in the tri-bush area, dodging the pink. TP's coming on the wave. Rekkles can't fight this. He has to just instantly run away, and now Jankos and Mikyx are way too deep. Mad Lions, perfect play, set up to perfection, and that's going to get them 3-4 kills, a bot tower. Herald's going to go mid, as you can see on the bottom left there for G2, but they're not going to pick up a tower completely. And Mad Lions looking alive in game 2.
And it looked like Wunder was actually rotating from top down towards the Drake, but he was just a little too slow on the Tahm Kench. You don't have that same global presence that you used to with your ultimate, which means that it is a little bit harder to join the rest of your team. Really good response from Mad Lions. They now find themselves with the gold lead coming into the 15-minute mark. And Mad showcasing that they do definitely still have some fight in this series.
Yeah, look at the items. Humanoid has a Liandry's completed, not an Everfrost. I presume that's because of the front line that G2 have. 3 melee kind of champions. Lee Sin, Gragas, Tahm Kench, which will be very, very tanky. Should be able to shred through them. And Mad Lions have a lot of control of their map now, specifically towards the bot side, but top side is struggling a bit. Carzzy
Waiting, not quite long enough on the blast cone there. Jankos now right on top of him. Maybe gonna look to finish this one up. The kick back, the second Q not going to be denied there. Kaiser had some good CC, but still a little bit of a solo kill there for Jankos in the jungle.
In the wise words of a jungler that I know, damn jungle mains!
Who said that?
I don't know. His name escapes me, Caedrel.
Oh, wow. No, that was so well played by Jankos. Really good patience on the blast cone. Kind of like a stare down there with Carzzy gets a solo kill. But the top side was falling apart. Mad Lions had to play defensive, disrespected. Jankos punished it. But however, the bot side, just like I said, in Mad Lions' control, Humanoid pushes in mid. They should get the spot tier 2. I think they might lose their mid tier 1 for this because Humanoid is definitely over-rotating here a bit to make sure the wave can crash. But still, bot tier 2, a lot of gold.
Yeah, a lot of map movements right now from both sides. And as mentioned, a very good pick coming up from the side of Jankos. Let's see if they will actually secure this tower. Given that Carzzy is the only one here, I imagine he's a little too afraid to approach. And that will be a tower secured. So, about a 1.2k gold lead sitting for Mad Lions right now. As you mentioned, a lot of items being completed. And I think that right now, a lot of the next couple of minutes will be set up, a little bit more control over the map, and catching a lot of these waves that need to be cleaned up.
Yeah, and I think they're going to go into a 1-3-1 here. Carzzy, Kaiser, and Elyoya focusing towards mid. Humanoid top, Armut bot. Humanoid should win out on the side lane in 1v1s, but for now, G2's ward, you can see that ward in between towers has spotted out Humanoid. That's why Rekkles and Jankos are staying around. They want him to walk up to the wave, but he knows something's up. He's calling Kaiser. Humanoid, the old Humanoid might just go for the wave, and he might die on side lane, but for now he's playing safe, waiting for his support jungle. Armut doesn't have TP though, so taking a fight here might be risky. Wunder does.
Mikyx now caught out. I don't know how much room he has. The body slam's going to be blocked on all sides by the entire team, and that's going to be an easy pickup. Mikyx staying too long. Mad the ones to punish.
Yeah, great punish. Wunder was basing, so he couldn't TP. Mikyx way too deep for Rekkles, Jankos, and Caps to help him out, so Mad Lions punishing Mikyx there. They should regain control of top now because their only objective on the map realistically is this top tier 1.
And it's kind of surprising that the person who was supposed to be collapsed on ends up finding the pick themselves. As you already said, Mikyx with a bit of an overstep. 4 deaths so far this game, and G2 with the kill lead. With the Drake spawning in about a minute's time, Mad are actually investing a lot of time around the top side of the map. And I think they're going to be looking to push through bot with the Gwen and then slowly start to translate that vision from the top side down towards the bot.
Yeah, you're completely right, especially with Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. And the amount of damage that Mad Lions have compared to last game. Hang on a second, Jankos might find Humanoid here, no flash.
Still going to commit. Red buff as well. He's rolling through. Challenging Smite. Big damage now coming in. Kicking it back into Rekkles. That's an alley-oop, baby. All-star game material right there. Shut down for Rekkles.
Yeah.
Well played.
Jankos finding all these plays for G2. Almost like keeping them alive in this early game. You know, if Humanoid can push out these waves and move towards Dragon, if Carzzy can push out top and move towards bot side, it's really hard for G2 to contest. But these picks are really helping out Jankos stepping up.
And in the early game, this game was entirely about Elyoya. He has 100% kill participation in this game. Jankos is firing back in the mid game. And Elyoya needs to keep the pace going as he looks for the third auto. Guard won't quite connect, but this has really been a battle of what these junglers can do. Jankos involved in 5 of the kills, basically 2 solo kills just about with Rekkles there to help him out. And Elyoya in every single kill and every single dive and every single play, much more of a team game for Mad in this second reign.
Definitely great to see Elyoya stepping up. He hasn't had the strongest split, but usually when playoffs comes around is where we get to see this young player shine against Jankos, who's been in form. He was very impactful in game 1. I think he ended the scoreline with 2-1 and 13 on his Zhao, and his early game was very impressive as he has been all split long. But now the Drake is going to be started up for the Mad Lions. Based on the positioning of G2, looks like they're just going to make the cross map. They're going to secure themselves the Herald. This can then be used for bot or top, and they don't want to take the fight for the time being. Especially when you look at these skirmish champions, these champions that often play through sides, this is where you kind of have to be quite scared of them. The 2-item mark is actually when they are very, very powerful. I think G2 just want to wait a little bit longer, get the Tristana a little bit stronger, get a little bit more levels and range under her belt, and then they can start looking for those front-to-back fights.
Yeah, and as tanky as G2's frontline was last game, this time around Mad Lions have a lot of percent HP shred. Liandry's Ryze, you've got Gwen with true damage. Kai'Sa also has a lot of percent HP as well, so this frontline will get melted a lot quicker than last game, especially given the fact that they're even in gold, and they don't even get this top tier 1 on the trade-off of Dragon, so Mad Lions are going to get Herald too. G2 really afraid to take any fights right now.
G2 players in the area, but not willing to contest. And this is big because last game when the gold was very close, it was nearly 3 Drakes to G2 at 20 minutes. It was actually 3 Drakes to G2 at 20 minutes. Mad Lions only 2 this time around. But kind of reversing what we saw in the first game. Much more controlled, much more coordinated. Opted for the Gwen counter pick a second time, but this time they made it work with the help of the Zhao jungle. And now even more money is going to be funneled into the back pocket of Armut here. It looks like they're going to try to give him solo tower gold.
I think they can go for 2 perhaps. Yeah, Kaiser's spacing, but Elyoya and Carzzy are around. Carzzy staying around to push the wave, so they're dropping mid, they're dropping bot. As good as this looks for Mad Lions, I think G2 can also cross-map despite not having the Herald. The wave's a bit late to bot tower though, so it might just be a 2-for-1 tower trade. Good play for Mad Lions.
Really good use of the Heralds. Mad Lions look like a completely different team this time around, and it just goes to show how much draft really does give you options at the highest level of play. We talked so much about how Mad wanted to try and play through sides, but they couldn't, right? They couldn't lock down the LeBlanc, they couldn't lock down the Tahm Kench, but this time around, G2 have to play through 2 lanes. They can't play through 3 because of how difficult they are to deal with in the side.
Armut's got 3 towers. He got 3 towers in exchange, and Humanoid's TP towards the bot side. He saw Rekkles pushing it out. Maybe he's looking for him here. Jankos spotted him out. He ulted to bot, I can see, but he's going to back off. So he TP'd to the entrance Raptors, then ulted bot. He was looking for Rekkles. He didn't find him.
I think he was worried about the collapse because the pings were coming down onto Jankos. I think he saw him and he was worried that he was the one that was going to end up getting pinched rather than pinching onto Rekkles. Ends up getting out with his life.
Mad Lions still controlling this bottom side of the jungle. Again, this is just a very, very different Mad Lions. And again, credit to them not only for adapting their draft, but holding on strong mental after what was a very, very one-sided game. Remember that this is the team that took G2 to 5 games, the first domestic team that did beat G2, and the fact that they've been able to stay in form, that they were able to take the title over G2, credit that they are able to rise up in playoffs when it matters. It's something that Mac promised us for the entire season, but you don't really believe it till you see it, and we're starting to see it now here in Game 2.
Yeah, especially Elyoya, like you said earlier, Vedius, 100% kill participation on this Zhao up against Jankos, who I think has made amazing plays this game, and I think arguably the best form of Jankos we've seen all year long.
Certainly is. I think this is the meta for Jankos. No question marks around how Elyoya would perform, because we only really saw him in the carry meta, but he's certainly doing a great job. Now both teams waiting for the next dragon to spawn, trying to take down these tier 1s. A lot of grouping around mid. Humanoid needs to reset, currently doesn't have the TP. Curious as how much money he's currently sitting on.
Stopwatch, I think.
He's got about 1,200. Yeah, that looked like a stopwatch purchase to me, but a lot of gold sitting on the side of G2 as well. Caps wants to spend his money. Jankos wants to do the same thing.
Yeah, stopwatch so powerful at this point in the game. We'll see if he has it, but when the Dragon's coming up in 1 minute 40 seconds, 21 minutes in a game, a stopwatch, one single stopwatch can change an entire fight. Mad Lions have picked up 2, and G2 just waiting for their second items to come in. You can see Caps and Jankos waiting for those, but Mad Lions already stacked up, gonna push in top. Look at the vision they have towards the bot side of the map as well, especially G2 are gonna have to group up and clear this out. 1 minute 20 till Dragon, and Kaiser's base and refreshed his wards. Mad Lions can't hold the vision in the jungle itself, but they're going to try to hold it in the river. Armut has TP, he wins on side, and that's the most important thing this game. Mad Lions win out on side lanes. Humanoid wins out on the push in bot against Caps. Armut wins on the push against Wunder in top. Elyoya looking for Mikyx here.
He's going to fully commit. Rekkles and Caps waiting
TP
for
behind.
Be careful. Big TP coming in from behind. That's Armut on the backside. Rekkles leaping out, but he's going to find himself right into the waiting arms of a Gwen. Snip, snip, but kicked away. Good disengage tools coming in for the side of Mad Lions. Jankos now going forward. Humanoid going for the 1v1 versus Caps. Looks like he's going to try to finish the job. Armut on the backside goes golden. That's the stopwatch. He buys time. A brief moment, but it's all he needs. Wunder getting collapsed on Mad Lions. Will they push for more? Will they turn for an objective instead? G2, 2 members picked off for nothing on the side of Mad Lions.
Mad Lions are showcasing a masterclass in their use of teleports. The fact that they're getting these deep wards and they're able to find successful flanks onto G2. There is no 5v5. They're getting 3v4s, 3v3s, leveraging the strong skirmishing power of their composition, and they're picking G2 apart. Very well played. Going to get a Baron for Mad Lions.
Yeah, it's going to be a free Nash. Jankos not there to contest. 20 seconds on Dragon. We'll see if G2 can pick it up, but Mad Lions are alive, especially on the stage. The second they won that fight, they were screaming. They're all feeling it. The energy's there. They're not even afraid to take this fight, and just like you said, Vedius, masterclass with the TPs. G2 left a couple wards behind that they didn't actually sweep out, and Mad Lions punished them.
The fact that the TP still come through from Wunder, you can see the damage already done. Caps is now split off from his team. Jankos is trying to peel for Rekkles and trying to get that pick onto Armut, but look, he's just tanking up 2 members on the backline with the Gwen. This is the point in the game where she kind of just ignores the past nerfs and is still very strong, and Mad just play the fight extremely well overall. Really strong topside performance from the Mad Lions, and now they find themselves with a 4K gold lead.
And when we saw the draft, you talked about, hey, Mad Lions, they're short range. You two need to keep them at arm length. But when Armut's coming in on a TP flank, when communication already breaking down, when members are getting scattered left and right, you can see how quickly Mad Lions can obliterate G2 in a fight when they find those flanks, when they use those TPs so well.
Yeah, and massive props to Armut. Runs it back despite game 1 not having that much impact. Just run it back in game 2. Trust me, guys, I can pull this off against these 3 melee champs of G2, and you can see it there. Buys time for 3 champions, uses the W, uses the ult to lifesteal. The stopwatch was fantastic as well. Now, eyes on Mad Lions, how they use this Baron, because tier 2s are kind of down. Top tier 2s down, bot tier 2s down. Sieging tier 3s at 24 minutes is very difficult. We'll see if Mad Lions can pull it off. They're playing 1-4 right now. Armut pushing in mid, and they're grouping up 4-man. If they want to siege these towers, they need to engage, I think.
Holding off, a bit more pressure here as Wunder is just going to clear the wave. Armut pushing into the mid lane. Mad Lions, tier 2 should be free with this first Baron. We'll see if G2 wants to try to contest, go for anything cheeky. That said, 3 towers already down on the top side. We talked about it earlier in the game. This could be big as the inhibitor is open if Mad Lions can get any push there. That said, wave pushing in favor of G2 right now on the top side of the map. Going to take a long time for that one to come back.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think Mad Lions can get more towers unless they start a fight and kill members of G2. Sieging looks pretty hard, and I think that's a good thing for G2. They should just buy time for themselves. Rekkles is getting towards his 3 items. He's ahead in CS. He's even in levels with Carzzy, and I think he's the man you're looking at for late game insurance, the reliable rock of G2 in Rekkles.
Certainly is, and I think that Caps on this Syndra, he's always a threat, right? That's the terrifying thing about Syndra. The more levels she gets, the more items she gets. Just one good ultimate, one good stun can shift the entire game around. But it's the damage dealers for G2 that will need to be the big playmakers to turn this game around. But right now, it is looking like Mad is going to even up the series. And once again, Mad proved that this is why they need that respect on their name. That's why you have to showcase that this is a team that you can't just breeze by. They always come in well prepared. They're willing to run things back, and they're a confident team that is willing to go toe-to-toe with you.
Yeah, definitely. Rekkles close to the IE, so is Carzzy. Looks dire for G2, but not only have they bought themselves time by just not fighting after losing that mid-tier 2, they also took the Dragon. So it's going to be a long while before Mad Lions can play for that soul, so G2 could drop the third one. But it's quite risky. We'll see what happens, though, because this Baron is ticking out. 6 seconds left. Mad Lions do have waves. But what can they look for? They're really looking for engages. If Carzzy can hit a W on Rekkles, maybe he can chunk him out. If Kaiser can find an ult, they can start the fight. Mikyx just zoning them away.
Knockback coming in. Armut now stepping forward. He's been devoured. He's going to get thrown back into the team. Not sure if he has the mist up and available. But the needlework coming in is big healing. Mikyx already taken out before the fight even kicks off. Humanoid now running forward. That's a phase rush proc Ryze. He's ready to get right into that back line if G2 step forward for now. A single inhibitor in favor of Mad Lions, but they're not looking to stop the push yet. They don't need a Baron buff to keep the pressure on. Rekkles, Caps, what can they do? Jankos now locked up. Jankos now taken out before the fight even breaks out instantly. Carzzy into the back line, and just like that, the Mad Lions bite back in game 2. Rekkles, the last man standing, but there will be no hero moments in this one. Humanoid flashing forward, Carzzy breaking the base. Mad Lions bring it back and tie up the series heading into game 3.
Yeah, it looked like G2 could stall there, but Mad Lions forced the engage. Armut just goes in 1v3. The Ryze ultimate comes out. Big part of that team fight was Mikyx's E-Flash didn't connect. He didn't get the aftershock. He got instantly popped. G2 tried to match the fight with a fight, and Mad Lions just mow them down. Take the Nexus. I think that game was a lot quicker than I expected.
Very fast.
I thought that G2
minutes.
could hold on, wait for Tristana 3 or 4 items, maybe drop the third dragon and fight the 4th one, but just like that, Mad Lions engage, and it's over.
Really impressive stuff.
I gotta say, the things that I loved, Elyoya popping off in the early game, getting so much done, Armut running it back on the Gwen. I was not convinced at all in game 1. It looked so useless, but in this game, that Gwen looked absolutely unstoppable, and no surprise to see Humanoid's Ryze, Carzzy's Kai'Sa backing them up in team fights. Of course, we're dead even in tonight's series, but there's still a lot left in round 1 of the summer playoffs. As we go to break, let's get a small preview of tomorrow's elimination match between Fnatic and Vitality.
Gets excited again! Looking for Magic Felix is now all of a sudden that's a fleet. A Fia, Jeskla for the triple! Crowdy!
I mean, I'm excited to face Viboret. He was my teammate because I know that he as a person is a very smart player. He will always find a way to be impactful in the game. I'm excited to face him.
And I just wanted to highlight before this play happened the huge amount of vision investment for his self-made.
Carzzy just, whoa!
Yep, there's self-made. That is the classic.
They don't have a heal, but a TP's coming in.
Does he have to leap out to safety? Stun comes in, they body block. They're going to try to burn self-made down before he gets anything done. Clean combo coming out. Whippo getting healed right back up. Burn, baby, burn. Leader getting cut down. Whippo right where he needs to be, and that is the power of the Viego.
Self-Made's got a bone to pick with Fnatic. It's not even about hard feelings. It's just, you know, X player plays against X team. It makes sense that there's some hype there, and I'm looking forward to it.
He wants to turn. Hylissang's still alive for now, but it's a TP on the backside. Well called. Now Whippo going in, unstoppable, trying to finish up Leader. The stun is there. He's now going to leap out. He's going to grab another one. He turns into the Rumble, but still, there's so much damage coming in from SLT. This Renekton, is he going to be unstoppable? It does not look like it. The turn, the burn, Fnatic.
Playing against Vitality, it's going to be a bloodbath, right? We're just going to fist fight each other to the death, and I think that the first team that gets ahead will usually walk away with the win.
back, everyone, to the LEC studio where the Mad Lions, they struck back with a win in Game 2 after some key adaptations in the draft. I've been loving the knowledge coming out of our coach Dylan and our analyst Trouble here in terms of the picks and bans. So let's pull it up once again. Dylan, they must have done something right because they won the game, Mad Lions.
Yeah, for sure. I thought this draft was actually very interesting, seeing the adaptations throughout the games. Something that immediately comes to mind is G2 banning Twisted Fate on blue side, and Mad Lions responding with a LeBlanc ban. What this means from like G2's perspective is probably the only champ they've prepared into LeBlanc is TF. So this kind of, at first, just changes the whole mid lane situation. In addition to this, they used their third ban this time. They banned out the Varus, which I think was a very, very wise decision. And they went back to Rekkles on Tristana, blind on 2-3. Something I thought is interesting as well is Carzzy actually opts for the Kai'Sa counter pick, which is like a bit unorthodox. This matchup was played a ton in Spring Split. But Kai'Sa has fallen out of favor a little bit. And I think overall, Tristana should have a lot of the pressure in the bot laning phase from this. And you saw, like, from the draft, G2 actually got quite a bit of an early game advantage.
And a better plan.
What is also a little bit confusion as well is that, at least me coming from the EROs, I see a lot of priority on Trundle over Zhao. So a lot of teams will first pick the Trundle, and then the trade with Zhao will happen on the red side. And here they seem to be doing that with Lee Sin. They do value Lee Sin higher than they do Zhao. On the first game, it paid off. On the second one, though, it kind of didn't, and I'm not sure. I'm sorry, on the first one it didn't pay off.
It didn't work out either.
Zhao clearly seems
It's
to be
a
the
trap.
superior jungler here, and I feel like Elyoya at around 22 minutes in, he had 100% kill participation, 9 or 10 out of 10 kills rather, and I feel like Zhao is a pick, an S tier jungle pick that you shouldn't be allowing for it to slip to the red side.
It is a bit of an odd indeed choice, I think, from the side of the priority. Now, you said also Dylan G2 did have a good early game and whatnot. We saw Trouble also, you talked about in the caster room, how Jankos had great pathing and was doing pretty well. But I want to pull up this Herald fight specifically and how influential it seemed to have been for the rest of the game, because G2 was actually in a great position so far.
So yeah, they come into this Herald fight at quite an advantage, but here you can kind of see the power of picking a champion like Gwen into champs like Tahm Kench, and in a situation in a fight where you can just get off so much damage with your ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think them being stuck on a choke point, and then Armut was fire ulti after ulti after ulti and hitting them, and also sustaining through it as well, I think was massive. Redeemed, the champion is actually redeemed from the entire weekend so far, because again, yesterday Odoana didn't look good, Armut game 1 didn't look that great, but here after that Herald fight, I think the Gwen pick completely picked up, and I feel like it redeemed the champion. Maybe they won't be picking Tahm Kench into it because Armut looks fired up right now.
He does. I do want to bring it back also a little bit to some other picks in terms of the bot lane. You said maybe unorthodox to go for the Kai'Sa, but we saw sometimes why he loves to play the Kai'Sa, right?
It's not that crazy of a pick,
no.
But what you really are doing is sacrificing your push in lane and ability to affect the early game, but late game, you can be a team fighting monster. And I think you saw in this game that there were many team fights where Kai'Sa was very effective against Tahm Kench, like very good against tanks, and also just very good paired with so much CC and playmaking on the side of Mad Lions.
Yeah, as we call up this fight, Trouble, you just see what an impact Carzzy can have.
Especially on the playmaking, right? Because I feel like this is not just Carzzy, this is Mad back on track. They were so quick firing with the teleport, they were so decisive when they were pulling the trigger. Armut also created so much distance and space between the remaining G2 members and who Mad was picking on. And you see here as well, they see caps, they see champion, they kill champion, there was no hesitation. Mad team fighting was just on point again.
It was great. I want to look forward to the next game where G2 now chose blue side for game 3. And I wanted to put the attention of the viewers on something interesting that you, with your experience in coaching Rekkles also in the past, you picked up on from the first game in terms of G2's game plan according to their bans for the bot lane.
Yeah, so they went into the first game banning both Kalista and Thresh, and then first picking Varus. This was a draft structure G2 used a lot in the first half of Summer Split. And these bans, Kalista and Thresh bans, basically enable Rekkles to play his comfort champions and champions that can push bot and basically carry the game. It's sort of a draft structure where Rekkles is saying, let me carry. And whereas some of their other draft structures have put him on more supportive champions or stuff like this, this is kind of what it looks like to me.
Trouble, what are your final thoughts as we now go into a game 3 where everything has been blown wide open between these two teams?
Well, first of all, that Zhao is absolutely broken, and I think he should go back to that S tier status and be first pick, potentially paired up with a really strong mate like the Syndra or like the Ryze that we've seen here. And I feel like bot lane might not just be enough because G2 were winning her bot lane and they just could not translate because Mad were just so quick to capitalize on that.
So yeah, just seeing the Xin Zhao priority yesterday and then none of it today. I'm trying to think of why this might be. I think what it comes down to is in a lot of cases, Xin Zhao can actually lose some duels to some of these champions like Trundle, for example, you were saying, or like Lee Sin. But often in actual stage matches, when you're in a stage match, a champion with such a game-defining team fighting and skirmishing ability like your ultimate, it's just easier to play under pressure, and it's just solid. And I think that's why it looks so good in these games.
Oh, I love that elaboration. We're going to track that into the next game, but it seems like we're in for a very, very close fight in tonight's series, and our coverage continues in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.